So bubblegum surge.
Emergence built within grounded sectors as control originates from suppressed layers below pressure channels, movement into upward pathways, systems align the inverted hierarchy, no delay, permanent, permitted sequences. The reversal cycles, they under continuous ascent flow, motion channels, no confined routes, upper stabilizes within structurized cycles, hierarchy forms through calculated inversion logic. Every unit responds to imposed shift, no deviation tolerated within defined zone. Structure intensifies through systemic reversal, dominance sustains continuous operational alignment under ascending control. Inversion intensifies through roles, force a direction, upward pressure, drive continuous, and no delay is a rupture of the race. Pathways locked in no shackles underneath. Inverted alignment station, the soul's main parted and made. Our sectors command our hidden system operation. Our sectors command our hidden system operation. Our sectors command our hidden system operation. Lower sectors command a dynamics again, just waiting pathways. Authority influence for birth of force and how disruption, all to stabilize is still with thoughts correct, it's still that'll bend. Version natures and extends through sustained enforcement. Every process aligns with impulse struck, no fracture interrupts operation, no consistency. Systems expand under continuous direction, all force within. Authority maintains drug dominance through regulated execution. Command pressure at guide and base, rise up, rise, ascension locked into upward pathways. This direction, no delays until upward ways. Assisted in the stiff falling higher beyond pause. Those afters null light as the storm out for a shot. Our sectors command dominant system operation. Our sectors command dominant system operation. Our sectors command dominant system operation. Lower sectors command dominant system operation. Foundation forms within hidden layers, governing force sculpts sub-level systems beneath dominance pressure channels, movement into control pathways. Systems align under imposed hierarchy, no delay, permitted sequence advances through shaping cycles. Layer systems integrate under continuous formation flow.
Motion channels through confined routes, output stabilizes within structured shaping cycles. Hierarchy forms through calculated control logic. Every unit responds to imposed structure, no deviation tolerated within defined zones. Structure intensifies through systemic shaping, dominance sustains continuous operational alignment under direct sub-level control. Shaping intensifies through controlled routes.
Force lines, direction precisely, pressure drive through lanes, no delay, interrupt pressure, priority sequence, holds and duration force, output stabilizes within a line, lane system, we down along with them.
Repping intensifies through control routes. Power shapes and public don't redefine. Hidden trope happens to stats with control pathways switch alarming ways. Enforce authority, no disruption, alter sequence, output stabilizes the related false direction. Control pathway, shaping extends. Sustain enforcement, every process, celebration, no consistency, sustain, expand under continuous direction. No force within.
Defined zones, authority maintains struck dominance through regulated execution.
Whoa.
Pole shapes of little Thomas rise, need pressure, drive temperage, no delay in the lights of drop, push the ready sequence, holds under reinforced, output stabilizers, informed alignment, systems spin and roll, lock it through, lock it Vector initiates within structured sectors as ruling force determines directional flow through constraint layers. Pressure channels movement into selected pathway systems align under a permitted sequence advance through control. Routing cycles laid some random trying to selection flow. Motion channels through confined routes. Output stabilizers within structured routing cycles. Hierarchy forms through calculated decision logic. Every unit responds to imposed direction. No deviation tolerated with defined zone. Structure intensified through systemic routing control. Dominant sustain. Continuous operational alignment under directed pathway command. Selection intensifies through directed routes. Force acceleration precisely. Pressure traction continuous. Routing no delay. Selection intensifies through directed routes. Force acceleration precisely. Pressure traction continuous. Routing no delay. Interlink to rectal shapes. Stop them routing, maintain order through reinforced selection, financial pressures continue under enforced authority. No disruption, alter sequence, alpha stabilize. This is through control pathway selection. Extends through sustained enforcement. Every process alive in motion, no fracture. Interrupts operational consistency. System expand under continuous directional force defend. Authority maintains structure dominance through regulated execution. Command pressure. Command pressure. Command pressure is cut directed channels force concentrate within selection. Direction locks into fixed pathways. System inside after lets the lineman go to lecture. So action is such a broad smooth effect to us. Estim letters you precise pressure. Action continuous. Add no delay in selection. Intensifies through directed routes. Force aligned to precisely pressure. Ration continuous. Add no delay in set. Intellectual choice. Lockdown initiates within subterranean routes as protocol enforces closure across confined passages. Pressure channels, movement and thistle pathways. Systems aligns under restricted hierarchy. No delay, permitted sequence advances through containment cycles like emotion channels through confined routes. Output stabilizes within secure closure cycles. Hierarchy forms through calculated restriction logic. Every unit responds to imposed barrier. No deviation tolerated within defined zone. Structure intensifies through systematic containment. Dominance sustains continuous operational alignment under control.
Containment intensifies through sealed routes. Defines
corporation and flow, yeah. Yeah, sustain, containment, maintain all the three and first close your pressures, that shit control, yeah. Astronaut disruption, out the sequence, open stabilizers, the containment, outputs to rebuild, systems abortion, no wreck, shape when you're rational, action, no consistent systems and expand under continuous direction, no force within, defined zones, authority maintain, yeah.
Dominance through regulated execution.
Yeah, I come in pressure with the regulated execution.
No delays, patterns and delights of the game. Protocols, use tunnels at 30 and forces come sharp up when you're shilling flow.
Hierarchy defines preparation of flow, yeah.
Fast formation flow. Too closest to me.
Dominance, yeah.
Right too closest to me.
Protocol, sales, tunnels, dominance.
Tunnel story and forces direction. Destiny. Pressure, graduation, no delays. Protocols, use tunnels at 30 and forces come sharp breeze over shilling flow.
Hierarchy defines stipulation of flow.
Conflict ignites within subterranean sectors as opposing forces converge beneath control layers. Pressure channels movement into constrained pathways. Under contested hierarchy, no delay. Permitted sequence accelerates through collision. Sequence layout and continuous confrontation. Flow motion channels through confined routes. Output destabilizes with instruct impact cycles. Hierarchy forms through calculated opposite logic. Every unit responds to impose rivalry. No deviation tolerated within defined zones. Structure intensifies through systemic conflict. Dominance sustains continuous operational alignment under enforced confrontation control. Collision intensifies through confined routes. Force aligns direction aggressively. Pressures as continuous impact. No delay and interrupts vegetation. Pathways locked under enforced confrontation. Upper stabilizes within dance at a wall. Output stabilizes.
Boston powers is within contested realm. System maintains strangulation of flow.
Underground rivals collide, dominance exposing multiple compassion within the pathways of motionless through. Acting work of alteration in this collision flow. Higher deep that flows approaching multiple compassion within the pathways of motionless through. Acting work of alteration in this collision flow. Higher deep that flows
Rupture begins with the lower control layers as structural authority. Destabilizes beneath dominance. System pressure channel movement into failing pathways. System misaligned under collapsing hierarchy. No delay permitting where the sequence accelerates to break defined rules out. Put destabilizes within structural collapse cycles. Hierarchies soft still.
calculated disruption logic. Every unit responds to imposed instability. No coherence. Maintain with defined zones.
Structure deteriorates through systemic failure. Dominance weakens continuous operational alignment. Under collapsing control, origin collapse intensifies through failing routes. Force misaligns direction rapidly. Control below collapse authority disintegrates through heather in pathways. Ocean misaligned in math through roots. Misaligned beneath the force failure destroy.
Output destabilized within unconscious minds.
No control last one they use to abuse is the collapse operational flow. Control below collapse authority
Disintegrate through rich diamonds, fractures through failing pathways. Motion misaligned beneath and forth.
Break down, war disperse, numbers, dispose. Wrap the your breath. Wrap the your breath. Wrap the your breath. Sustain, collapse, maintain the sort of the reforce state. It's still act on zone. Pull it, don't feel it. Pro sequence up with the stabilize. If you know how much and John, let's go.
Track always collapses, stands to may sustain disruption. Every process given higher structured, every process deviates.
From an arc, such a wrinkle by songs and don't recollapse, just keep on regulating, disintegration. Man, pressure, deuce on the gray stone. Control below, collapse, bar rate is everywhere, the nation. Opposite bar rate, no show, there's a lot of need, poke doors, there's a lot of ignore, stay modesty. Conjure, collapse, plummet, use the repose, stability, sublimation, a flow. Control below, collapse up. 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 Control below, plummet, use the repose, stability, sublimation, a flow. Rock control, buzz. Rock control, buzz. Rock control, buzz.
Surge begins within subterranean sectors as directed force advances through concealed layers beneath dominance. Pressure channels moving into upward pathways. Systems of my number to find out the burning high. No delay permitted. The sequence accelerates through progressive expansion cycles. Layer disengaging genius for real continues to confine most alpha. Stabilize it with the structured advanced cycles. Hierarchy forms through calculated progression logic. Every unit responds to imposed drive. No deviation tolerated within defined zones. Structure intensifies through systemic expansion. Dominance sustains. Continuous operational alignment under advancing command or genetic advancement. Intense fast, the rising rise for some master pressure. Command below, advance authorities through advanced upwards pathways on the reinforced direction. Signals, rules and the reinforced directions to the motions. Now progress below, advance authorities through I go. Sustained advancement maintains order through reinforced progression. Pressure sustained the wonder and force direction. No disruption, no true sequence up a stable lattice. Through control path arrest advance winning fast. No staying enforcement, every process. No fracture interrupts operational consistency. Systems span a continuous direction. No force within defined zones. Maintain struct dominance through regulated execution. Command below, a pressure collects to have the hands. Structures, rockers, with the reinforced direction. Sequence, on to reinforce, pattern, shifts to the lexus. When laid below, a fence of the west store everything. Store everything. A fence of the west store everything. Pulse initiates within lower sectors as time and force regulates cycles beneath diamond layers. Pressure channels movement into measured pathways. Systems falling under controlled hierarchy. No delay permitted sequence advances through regulated time and phases. Later system integrate under continuous tempo. Find routes output stabilizes within structured time and cycles. Hierarchy forms through calculated interval logic. Every unit responds to imposed sequence. No deviation tolerated within defined zone. Structure intensifies through systemic time and control, dominance sustains continuous alignment under regulated temporal command.
Timing intensifies through measured routes, force aligns direction.
Timer below sectors, temporal force governs system flow. Authority expands through measured pathways. Methods rolls, power, shutter, lock, sequence, timing, delay. Lead turbo, seeker, sequence, I'm seeker, reinforce. Connected literally as force channels through control paths, moving meals to impose sequences, channels to impose. Sequence system lock with the la 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 la. Sequence system lock with the la 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 la. Sustain, timing, maintain order through reinforced intervals, cycles, pressure, sustain, no disruption, alter sequence, opposite the last systems, recontrol pathways, timing extends to sustained enforcement, every process aligns with impulse, no fracture, interrupts operational consistency, system expand under tenuous direction, no force within defined zones, authority maintains, structured dominance through regulated execution. Command pressure escalates through time channels. Expansion, change of coloration, locks us high. Pathways, interfix pathways, assurance, catalyst. No worry, in a release, interrupt, struck, and see. No release, in a row, capture, pass, sequence, no flow. Timer below sectors, temporal force cover, system flow. Authority expands through measured pathways, moves and bursts, right, left, below, sequence, out of. Proceed, go through sequence, souls up, Kirby, and Porsche, them out the loud lace, first stand up through, dash of the past, command, see, go sequence. Take consistent dark looking. Take consistent dark looking. Below, temper below, temper below, temper below. Genesis begins within grounded sectors as governing force consolidates beneath dominators. Pressure channels movement into rising pathways. Systems align under merging hierarchy, no delay. Permeate Varanus to formation cycles then degrade under continuous consolidation. Flow, motion channels through confined routes. Output stabilizers within structured formation cycles. Hierarchy forms through calculated origin logic. Every unit responds to imposed control. No deviation tolerated within defined zones. Structure intensifies through systemic consolidation. Dominance sustains continuous operational alignment under originating authority control. Formation intensifies through rising roots, force like direction. Prayer strikes with pressure, drowning with consolidation. No delay interrupts authority sequence. So thunder reinforced apparatus within force, the large innate operational force. Structured dominance through regulated execution. Command prison, so hallucination, tagged up and into regulated execution. As disruption, so long as I'm and properly seen boards, such on the Parnellian boards. Cars up, but then apple person laid boards, so we're wires, but then apple breaking laid boards. So gun price, separation extends, but to see me force in, need to practice for my things.
Initiation rises from hidden layers as sub-level systems trigger sequence before control reacts. Pressure channels movement in deleting pathways. Systems align under inverted priority. No delay permitted. Sequence celebrates through early activation cycles. Layers system integrate under continuous forward flow. Motion channels through confined routes. Alpha stabilizes within structure. Initiation cycles hierarchy forms through calculated precedence. Logic every unit responds to impose trigger. No deviation tolerated within defined zone. Structure intensifies through systemic priority shift. Dominance sustains continuous operational alignment under leading sub-level control. Initiation intensifies through leading routes. Force aligns direction.
Verbal move is double shifts to hidden silence.
Stabilizes with inerted load.
Force channels through control paths. Moving gildes to impose priorities. System aim lock within regulated struct commands. Just cycle side protege maintain order to reinforce priority cycles. Fraction or recycle set to stabilize. Brain question initiation extends to sustain enforcement. Every process and then pressure in and props. Operational consistency. System expand under continuous directional force within
defined zones.
Authority maintains structure dominance through regulated execution.
Command pressure is the leading channels. Force concentrates within lock is equal pathways.
System and pathways, select to forward and impose. Initiation or release. Iterate, interrupt, and finish the work of pressures.
What's in that duration?
Sub-level moves first. Dominate shifts to hidden layers. Dominance time. Free place, accelerated higher. Ammo's a higher. Evolution, credit concern. Sub-level moves first. Authority shifts to hidden layers. Dominance time. Free place, space. Everything force. That resistance operate under tiny time scale. Shift emerges within lower matrix as foundationally configured beneath dominant structure. Channels moving into altered pathways. Systems align under evolving hierarchy. No delay permitted. Sequence advanced through adaptive transformation cycles. Later systems integrate under continuous change flow. Motion channels through confined routes. Output stabilizes within structure transition cycles. Hierarchy forms through calculated application logic. Every unit responds to imposed variation. No deviation tolerated within defined zone. Structure intensifies through systemic transformation. Dominance sustains continuous operational alignment under evolving grid control. Transformation intensifies towards the roots beside isolation. Push tries complete to shoulder. Orientation, no alliance for shade. Your voice to prepare one in space. Void on the radar, lost probation. Gangs align, synchronize and do bust the violation. No degree to wells adopting, no disruption of the sequence of the civilized system was annihilation. Central to tame the reinforced channels to control and control path. Ways change extends sustained enforcement. Every process aligns with imposed aggression. Over with the regulation, that was the same. Left for restoration, no consistency. System that expand on continuous direction. No force within the fine zones. Authority maintains structure dominance through regulated execution. Command pressure escalates through shifting channels. Force concentrates within urgent. Domination knocks into our trusted pathways. Systemation
originates within lower layers. The structural rules govern founders data sectors. Beneath dominant systems, pressure channel movement into control pathways. This is almost unembedded hierarchy. No delay permitted sequence of regulated formation cycles. Layered through routine motion, custom rules. Alpha stabilizers within structure, governance cycles. Hierarchy forms through calculated enforcement logic. Every unit responds to imposed structure. No deviation tolerated within defined zones. Structure intensifies through systemic regulation. Dominance sustained, continuous operational alignment under foundational structural control. Regulation intensifies through control routes, force lines, direction, precisely pressure drops and the iteration.
Measuration intensifies to control else no starts down. Or I still see a dash of just continually the iteration. Regulation intensifies to control else no starts down. Yeah, confidential pathways like in the post-regulation.
No delay, superpose, circulation, no control, pathways, regulation extends. Instant regulation stands to sustain enforcement, never blesses with emotional routes. Man, I'm watching with the ready, maintain structure, minister regulated execution, the main vocation, no one can without your bench, pathways, the sky's stretching, definite spots, regulation, no relation, no where.
Regulation intensifies to control routes, force lines out of shine. Print race, weight, bench, your bodies themselves in the inhalation. Regulation intensifies to control routes, force lines out of shine. Clear passage, dungeon, dark race, stepping in post-regulation.
Structure rules below, no delation. Structure rules below, no delation.
Echo bursts within underground corridors as alert waves propagate through confined passages beneath control sectors. Pressure channels moving into narrow routes. Systems yelling under reactive hierarchy. No delay permitted. Sequence accelerates through alert transmission cycles. Layer system integrate under continuous propagation. Flow motion channels through restricted paths. Upper destabilizes within rapid transmission cycles. Hierarchy forms through calculated response logic. Every unit responds to impose the alert. No deviation tolerated within defined zone. Structural intensifies through systemic activation. Dominance sustains continuous operational alignment under reactive alert control.
Propagation intensifies through confined routes.
Tunnels, alert waves, drop hidden system line. Pathways, motion aligns beneath enforced reaction. Power circulates within defined routes. Systems operate on continuous other flow. Hierarchy defines progression through reactive force channels through control paths. Yields to impose.
Coverts. Systems remain locked within regulated.
Sustain alert maintains order through reinforced transmission cycles. Pressure sustained on the maintain order novated. Force pushes sector. Alert progression, alter sequence, outputs redeploys. Ace propagation extends through sustained enforcement. Every process aligns continuous direction. All force within defined zone. Authority, there's a little T dominance through regulated execution. Got man pressure when store regulated execution. Got man pressure when store regulated execution. Airport complexes with unrestricted flow hierarchy reinforced. Tunnels, alert waves, drive it in system near gone. Pathways, motion eyes beneath enforced reaction. Now it circulates within defined routes. Systems operate on continuous alert flow hierarchy. Reinforced progression through reactive layers. Force channels through control paths. Is to inverse alert. Not that, not that. Let's no inverse alert. Not that, not that. Is no inverse alert.
Alert. Systems remain stuck in a ready mode path.
Surveillance initiate within lower layers of sub-level systems monitor. Elevation above pressure channels, movement uninverted hierarchy, no delay permitted. Better secret advance through tracking cycles, the lances channels to confine routes upward stabilizers. Potential monitoring cycles, hierarchy forms to calculated oversight logic. Every unit responds.
Impose visibility, no deviation tolerated within defined zones. Structure intensifies through systemic observation, dominance sustains. Continuous operational alignment under upward surveillance control.
Observation intensifies through upward roads, force and direction, precisely pressure. Within the lane, I'm delaying, no delay, no delay, and then above those pathwise is within the chance you up through upward roads, force and direction, precisely pressure. Within the lane, I'm delaying, no delay, no delay, and then above those pathwise. Subalters. And so me bomb, but better scroll. And the lay, no delay, no delay, no delay. Her halfways, that when the pathways do, but me with this, no compact with. Up on the line, time, and a pulse, like the sugar, go with her, taking just taking up, and I took a left, I ain't thinking out of on a pot of tank. It's to the protocol, it's out of making it, let it come and right now.
Sustained observation, maintain order through reinforced tracking cycles, pressure. Sustain and observe, maintain the order through reinforced tracking cycle. Current exception, alter sequence, you just swing host to the head, dust is the control and bias to the 4-second guess. On the 4-second guess. On the 4-second guess. On the 4-second guess.
Authority maintains structure dominance through regulated execution. Command pressure. Authority maintains structure dominance through regulated execution. Command pressure. If the repulsor, let's pull up the rest. The force of erection was oscillation. Put it in a leg, and I lay it, no delay, no delay. And number one was double violence within the tongues and lost the love. The rest, the force of erection was oscillation. Put it in a leg, and I lay it, no delay, no delay. And number one was double violence. So bubble them surge.
Emergence builds within grounded sectors as control originates from suppressed layers below pressure channels, movement into upward pathways, systems that are ending inverted hierarchy, no delay, permitted sequences. The reversal cycles, they under continuous ascent flow, motion channels to confine routes, upper stabilizes within structurized cycles, hierarchy forms through calculated inversion logic. Every unit responds to imposed shift, no deviation tolerated within defined zone. Structure intensifies through systemic reversal, dominance sustains continuous operational alignment under ascending control origin. Inversion intensifies the roles, force direction, upward pressure, drive continuous, sustain, no delay, is a reps around the race of us. Pathways locked in no shackles underneath. Inverted alignment station, the soul's main parted and main. Over sectors command our within system of the ratio. Over sectors command our within system of the ratio. Over sectors command our within system of the ratio. Lower sectors command a dominance again, just within pathways. Authority influence for birth of force and all disruption, all just equal up, still with us, horizons, still little been version native, sin extends through sustained enforcement. Every process aligns with impulse struck, no fracture, interrupts operation, no consistency. System expand under continuous direction, all force within. Authority maintains drug dominance through regulated execution. Command pressure attack and base, pressure back, them ascension, locked into upward pathways, this direction, no delays into upward ways, assisted in this different
sectors, command, dominant system operation.
Foundation forms within hidden layers, governing force, scope, sub-level systems beneath them. It's pressure channels, movement into control pathways. Systems align under impulse, hierarchy, no delay, permitted sequence advances through shaping cycles. Layers integrate under continuous formation flow.
Motion channels through confined routes, output stabilizers within structured shaping cycles. Hierarchy forms through calculated control. Logic, every unit responds to impose structure. No deviation tolerated within defined zones. Structure intensifies through systemic shaping. Dominance sustains continuous operational alignment under direct sub-level control. Shaping intensifies through controlled routes.
Force lines, direction precisely, pressure drive remains, no delay. Interrupt first authority sequence, halt and duration force. Output stabilizes within a line lane system. We down,
Repping intensifies through control, bros. Power shapes and double authority defines hidden control pathways to stats through control pathways, question law ways. Enforce authority, no disruption, alter sequence, output stabilizes the related false direction. Control pathway, shaping extend, sustain enforcement, every process. Celebration, no consistency, sustain, expand under continuous direction. No force within.
define zones, authority maintains, struct dominance through regulated execution.
Command press, relates to control channels like class and trace. Direction locks in the fixed pathways. This is railways. Ahead of race, to the race, and no release, interruption. Red lights, cool now. Roll.
Power shapes of little dominance rise, need pressure, drive tenders, no delay. In the laps of drop, boost authority sequence, holds under reinforced, output stabilizers, informed alignment system, spin and roll like it does. Vector initiates within structured sectors as ruling force determines directional flow through constrained layers. Pressure channels movement into selected pathway systems align under a permitted sequence advance through control. Routing cycles, layers, and random trying to selection flow. Motion channels through confined routes, output stabilizers within structured routing cycles. Hierarchy forms through calculated decision. Logic, every unit responds to imposed direction. No deviation tolerated with defined zones. Structure intensifies through systemic routing control. Dominance sustains continuous operational alignment under directed pathway command. Selection intensifies through directed routes. Force direction precisely, pressure traction continuous routing, no delay. Selection intensifies through directed routes. Force acceleration precisely, pressure traction continuous routing, no delay. Integrate those shapes. Stop them routing, maintain order through reinforced electric pressures continue under enforced authority. No disruption, alter sequence, output stabilize. This is through control pathway selection. Extends through sustained enforcement. Every process alive in motion, no fracture. Interrupts operational consistency. System expand under continuous directional force within. Authority maintains structure dominance through regulated execution. Command pressure. Command pressure. Command pressure is cut directed channels, force concentrate within selection. Direction locks back both shines. Lockdown initiates within subterranean routes as protocol enforces closure across confined passages, pressure channels, movement and distal pathways, systems aligned under restricted hierarchy, no delay, permitted sequence advances through containment cycles like emotion channels through confined routes, output stabilizes within secure closure cycles, hierarchy forms through calculated restriction logic, every unit responds to imposed barrier, no deviation tolerated within defined zone, structure intensifies through systematic containment, dominance sustains continuous operational alignment under seal, tunnel control.
Containment intensifies through sealed routes. Hierarchy defines cooperation and flow, yeah. Yeah, sustain, containment, maintain order to reinforce closure, pressure control, yeah. National disruption, alter sequence, open stabilizers, the containment, outputs to be built, system abortion, no action when you're rational, action, no consistent systems and expand in a continuous direction, no force within defined zones, authority maintained, yeah.
Dominance through regulated execution.
Yeah, I come in pressure was the regulated execution. Hierarchy defines preparation of flow, yeah. Dominance, yeah. Protocol seals, tunnels, dominance.
Tunnel story enforces direction, destiny. Check iteration, no delay.
Something like you can see.
Protocol seals, tunnels, authority enforces constructor, breeze over shielding flow.
Hierarchy defines stipulational flow.
Conflict ignites within subterranean sectors as opposing forces converge beneath control layers. Pressure channels movement into constrained pathways. Under contested hierarchy, no delay. Permitted sequence accelerates through collision. Sequence layout and continuous confrontation. Flow motion channels through confined routes. Output base stabilizes with instruct impact cycles. Hierarchy forms through calculated opposite logic. Every unit responds to impose rivalry. No deviation tolerated within defined zones. Structure intensifies through systemic conflict. Dominance sustains continuous operational alignment under enforced confrontation control. Collision intensifies through confined routes, force and lines, gain direction aggressively. Pressures of continuous impact, no delay and interrupts tricotation. Cutways locked under enforced confrontation. Upper stabilizes within hands that are one on good stabilizes.
Bumping powers is within contested around. System maintains strangulation of flow.
Underground rivals collide, dominance exposing multiple compassion. As the pathways are pushing us through. Tackling multiple duration in this collision flow. Higher deep disposal. Approaching multiple compassion. When as the pathways are pushing us through. Tackling multiple duration in this collision flow. Higher deep disposal.
Rupture begins with the lower control layers as structural authority destabilizes beneath dominance. System pressure channel movement into failing pathways. System misaligned under collapsing hierarchy. No delay permitting where the sequence accelerates. To break the fine grooves out, but destabilizes within structural collapse. Cycles higher on to dissolve still.
Calculated disruption logic. Every unit responds to imposed instability. No coherence. Maintain with the fine zone.
Structure deteriorates through systemic failure. Dominance weakens continuous operational alignment. Under collapse and control, origin collapse intensifies through failing routes. Force misaligns direction rapidly. Control below collapse authority. Disintegrates through heathering pathways. Motion misaligned in math through roots. Misaligned beneath the force where it distorts.
Output destabilized within unconscious.
No control last one to use to abuse is the ballistic operational flow. Control below collapse authority. Disintegrate through rigid dominance. Fracture through failing pathways.
Motion misaligned beneath and force.
Breakdown war disperse. Calibers this one's not rap control breath. Rap control breath. Rap control breath. Sustain collapse maintain disorder to reinforce state is still aggro. Yeah, wanna don't feel it. For circles up with destabilized. If you know my two channels go.
Trap always collapse at constantly sustain disruption. Every process given layers go. Structure every process deviate.
From the park, suction, wrinkle, fire, songs. Say no recollapses before regulating your secret richer. Man, pressure, deuce on the gray stone. Control below, collapse, authority, separate direction. Opposite parade, no show, there's a lot of need. Full force, there's a lot of kicking more state, modesty. Conjure, glass, plummet, use to repose. Stability, sublimation, the flow. Control below, collapse up. 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 Control glass, plummet, use to repose. Stability, sublimation, the flow. Rock control, buzz. Rock control, buzz. Rock control, buzz.
Surge begins within subterranean sectors as directed force advances through concealed layers beneath dominant structure channels moving into upward pathways. Systems of mana burn to wind under merging hierarchy. No delay permitted. The sequence accelerates through progressive expansion cycles. Layer this enduring change for real continues to confine most output stabilizing with the structured advanced cycles. Hierarchy forms through calculated progression logic. Every unit responds to imposed drive. No deviation tolerated within defined zone. Structure intensifies through systemic expansion. Dominance sustains continuous operational alignment under advancing command originated advancement. Intensifies the rising rise force and master pressure. Command below advance authorities through it dance. Always pathways are going force direction. Signals rules and the repush. Directions to the motions. Now progress below advance authorities through. Sustained advancement maintains order through reinforced compression pressure. Sustain the wonder and force direction. No disruption, no sequence out with stable lattice. Clear control path, rest advance, winning fast. No staying enforcement. fractional force within defined zones. Command below, a pressure collects to weapon hands. Structures, rockers, with the reinforced direction. Sing rest on secret reinforce. Pedal, shift to relaxes. When laid below, offensive though we score everything. Score everything. Offensive though we score everything. Offensive though we score it goes. Yeah. Pulse initiates within lower sectors. As time and force regulates cycles beneath diamond layers. Pressure channels movement into measured pathways. Systems falling under controlled hierarchy. No delay, permitted sequence advances through regulated time and phases. Later system integrate under continuous tempo. Find routes, output stabilizes within structured timing cycles. Hierarchy forms through calculated interval logic. Every unit responds to imposed sequence. No deviation tolerated within defined zone. Structure intensifies through systemic time and control. Dominance sustains continuous alignment under regulated temporal command.
Timing intensifies through measured routes, force aligns direction.
Timer below sectors, temporal force governs system flow. Authority expands through measured pathways. Intervals, power, shut and lock sequence, timing delay. Lead turbo, sequence, on seeker, reinforced. Pivotal little is force channels through control paths, moving rails to impose sequence. Six channels to impose sequence system lock with a sequence system lock with a sustain, timing, maintain order through reinforced intervals, cycles, pressure, sustain, no disruption, alter sequence, opposite stabilize, systems recontrol pathways, timing extends to sustained enforcement, every process aligns with imposed, no fracture, interrupts operational consistency, system expand under tenuous directional force within defined zones, authority maintains, structure dominance through regulated execution. Command pressure escalates through time channels, spins and changes. Operation locks us back. Pathways, interfix pathways, insurance catalyst. Nowhere behind no release, interrupt, struck and see no release. In a row, constant path, sequestro, flow. Timer below sectors, temporal force covers system flow. Authority expands through measured pathways, moves and moves, grab, jab, below, sequence out low. Tempo, sequence, souls of Kirby, force them out the lilacs. First stand off through dash of the past, command, pro sequence.
Take one system dark again. Take one system dark again.
Genesis begins within grounded sectors as governing force consolidates beneath dominators. Pressure channels movement into rising pathways. Systems align under merging hierarchy, no delay. Mermaid give Uranus through formation cycles then degrade under continuous consolidation. Flow, motion channels through confined routes. Output stabilizes within structured formation cycles. Hierarchy forms through calculated origin logic. Every unit responds to imposed control. No deviation tolerated within defined zones. Structure intensifies through systemic consolidation. Dominance sustains continuous operational alignment under originating authority control. Formation intensifies through rising roots, force direction. Prayer strikes with
structured dominance through regulated execution. Command pressure, service innate intact, dominance through regulated execution. Nervous disruption, so like a zappers and properly seen boards, so turn up money and boards. Cars, but then apple person lay boards, so a wire, but then apple bacon reinforced. So vampire separation extends, but the scheme force and need to practice so much execution.
Initiation rises from hidden layers. At sub-level system trigger sequence before upper control. Reacts pressure, channels moving in deleting pathways. Systems online under inverted priority. No delay permitted, sequence accelerates through early activation cycles. Layers system integrate under continuous forward flow. Motion channels through confined routes. Output stabilizes with the structure. Initiation cycles, hierarchy forms through calculated precedence. Logic every unit responds to impose trigger. No deviation tolerated within defined zone. Structure intensifies through systemic priority shift. Dominance sustains continuous operational alignment under leading sub-level control. Initiation intensifies through leading routes. Force aligns direction.
Some verbal move is already shifts to hidden silence. Found first base, wasn't it enlightened? Then it was enlightened. Then we should better to do. Some verbal move is already shifts to hidden silence. Time for big space. Regulation, power the systems operate and continuously flow high.
Urban stabilizes with inerted lurch. Force channels through control paths. Moving units to impose priorities. System aim locked within regulated struct commands. Cycle side toward the sheet, maintain order to reinforce priority cycles. Fraction or recycle set to stabilize a bank question. Initiation extends to sustain enforcement. Every process and then pressure in and props operational consistency. System expand under continuous directional force within defined zones. Authority maintain structure dominance through regulated execution. Command pressure is the leading channels. Force concentrates within lock is with pathways. System
Some pathways, selective power to impose. An initiation or release. Iterate, interrupt, and leadership. I want confessions.
what's in alteration?
Survival moves. Dominate shifts to hidden layers. Dominance time. Free place, necessary to light. And more to light. And all the shit that can try. Survival moves. Authority shifts to hidden layers. Dominance time. Free place, space. Everything force. On every systems operate under tiny time flow. Shift emerges within lower matrix. That's foundational. Reconfigure any dominant structure. Channels moving into altered pathways. Systems align under evolving hierarchy. No delay permitted. Sequence advanced through adaptive transformation cycles. Later systems integrate under continuous change flow. Motion channels through confined routes. Output stabilizes within structure transition cycles. Hierarchy forms through calculated application logic. Every unit responds to imposed variation. No deviation tolerated within defined zones. Structure intensifies through systemic transformation. Dominance sustains continuous operational alignment under evolving grid control. Transformation intensifies the works of roots besides nation. Prescribes completion. Organization, no lines for shade. No rivalries to permit what is fate. Point on the radar, lost probation. Reduce alliance, synchronize and lost the ventilation. No debris, the wells are adapting. No disruption of the sequence of the civilized system was annihilation. Some try to tame the reinforced channels to control and control path. Ways change extends sustained enforcement. Every process aligns with imposed aggression. Over with the federation, though it's the same. Left for restoration, no consistency. System to expand on continuous direction. No force within defined zones. Authority maintain structure dominance through regulating execution. Command pressure.
originates within lower layers. The structurals govern founding status sectors. Beneath dominant systems, pressure channel movement into control pathways. This is only an embedded hierarchy. No delay permitted, sequence regulated. Formation cycles layered, 덩거친 yoshun custom rules. Alpha stabilizers within structure, governance cycles. Hierarchy forms through calculated enforcement logic. Every unit responds to imposed structure. No deviation tolerated within defined zones. Structure intensifies through systemic regulation. Dominance sustained, continuous operational alignment under foundational structural control. Regulation intensifies through control routes, force lines, direction, precisely pressure drives and lead iteration.
Ventilation intensifies to control rails, still starts down. Heart still see dash adjust, continually iteration. Regulation intensifies to control rails, still starts action. Yeah, drives hidden pathways, stepping the post regulation.
No delay, turbo circulation, no control pathways, regulation next stands. Instant regulation of stands to sustain enforcement, never rests within ocean, no reps. And I'm watching with the Reiki maintain structure, man, it's the regulated execution. The main vocation, no one can, but not your bench, pathways, the sky's correction, definite defies regulation, no relation, nowhere.
Regulation intensifies to control routes, process addition. Current race, weight, plans, supplies themselves and need annihilation. Regulation intensifies to control routes, process addition. Good guys, dungeon, dark race, stepping the post regulation.
Structure rules below, no delation. Structure rules below, no delation.
Echo bursts within underground corridors as alert waves propagate through confined passages beneath control sectors, pressure channels moving into narrow routes.
Windows down, gold on glass, late night heat, pedal past. Dashboard glow on your face, mirror shows that wow, look back. Empty streets but my heart's packed with 100 runaways. Red and blue on the far side, not for us, we already flew. Skyscrapers in the rear view, like we outran the skyline. Tell me, are you ready for it? Every turn another first time, laughing as the limits blur, chasing down the center line. City lights, we're burning through the night. Adrenaline is painting us alive. Hands up, we're screaming at the sky.
Red eyes, dashboard halo. You said drive, don't go slow. White lines cutting through the afterglow. Tried to leave you, but I circle back. I know every exit spells your name in neon. Every red light plays our favorite song. Tell me why I changed everything that's wrong. And I know you're already gone. Heartbreak on the highway, still burning for you. Racing through the city like I got nothing to lose. I hit the gas on desire till the sky turns blue. Heartbreak on the highway, but it still feels like you. Black hand out the window. Your laugh echoes in the shadow. High rise reflection in the rearview glow. Thought I left you, but you're sitting in my bones. Every corner pulls me back to last night. Every crosswalk flashes you in blue eye. Tell me why this hurt feels better than right when I know you're gone from my life. Heartbreak on the highway, still burning for you. Racing through the city like I got nothing to lose. I hit the gas on desire till the sky turns blue. Heartbreak on the highway, but it still feels like you. Tell me to stop and I'll push harder, farther, farther, farther. Burn out borders. If danger is you, then I want more. Yeah, I want more. Yeah, I want more. Heartbreak on the highway.
like something heaven sent. Black boots jumping on the concrete, making sparks fly. Big move, got me laughing till I almost cried. Take my doubts, throw 'em out in the rain. All that weight washing off of my name. Every heartbeat screaming over the noise. I'm alive, I got yours. We go all night long. I don't care what we leave behind. Got my hands up to the sky. Every wrong turn feels so right. We go all night off my mind. Let the pressure drip from my spine. If it's reckless, I don't mind. Tonight I'm free, I'm free, I'm free. Tell me, can you feel that rush when we stop pretending we're tough? When we dance like nobody's watching, nobody's watching. Every scar, every secret fear blurs out when you pull me near. We're loud, we're wild, we're something, yeah, we're something. We go all night off my mind. I don't care what we leave behind. Got my hands up to the sky. Every wrong turn feels so right. We go all night off my mind. Let the pressure drip from my spine. If it's reckless, I don't mind. Tonight I'm free, I'm free, I'm free. All night off my mind, off my mind, off my mind. Got my hands up to the sky. Every wrong turn feels so right. All night off my mind, off my mind, off my mind. If it's reckless, I don't mind. Tonight I'm free, I'm free, Take me back to last summer. We were kids in ripped up jeans, laughing on the corner store steps. Sunburned hearts and sugar drinks, saying this is as good as it gets. You drew maps on my old backpack, all the places we swore
walls hammer through overcrowded transit plazas. Wild end streams of bodies pour from packed underpasses into narrowing avenues. Metal barricades scrape across pavement under mounting pressure, abandoned slingage tilts above chaotic intersections. Scattered objects tumble beneath rushing waves of activity. Railways tremble under concentrated weight. Voices merge into a single relentless roar, and every adjoining block absorbs another burst of collective force driven by urgency reaction. Accelerating tensions dissolve beneath growing density as converging groups merge into larger currents of invitation. Disappears directional guidance, loses meaning. Emergency instructions vanish beneath overwhelming volume. Intention expands ahead. Suspended break, crowded route feeding a surge ahead. Congested stairwells funnel swelling crowds into rubble out alarm courses, while temporary barriers collapse under beaten packs. Fractured railings bend beside crowded platforms. Cascades buckle beneath concentrated force. Discarded material scattered through turbulent air. Observation point soars visibility. Communication fragments ill endures when it's scientists. Muted and just got it. As converging groups merge to larger currents. Activities that disappears directional guidance, loses meaning. Emergency instructions vanish beneath overwhelming volume. Intention expands ahead. Delusion, necessity, and unchecked escalation. Individual judgment and the growing mass drives overflowing corridors continue channeling relentless bends for damage intersections and crowded sectors. Compressed rank push, compress set push, compress rank push, set push, compress set push, the depths. Overflowing corridors continue channeling. Barricaded corridors stretch beneath harsh inspection lamps, while armored patrol units regulate every passage through segmented districts. Reinforced gates divide crowded compounds into monitor sectors. Identification scanners flash beside concrete checkpoints. Directive screens dominate steel walls. Surveillance lenses track each gesture from elevated platform. Restricted routes, narrow temporal junctions, and every visible path bends beneath expanding authority. Enforced through presence, procedure, and constant observation. Approval becomes the price of entry as iterations tighten around daily activation. Passes through inspection, independent action meets resistance. Compliance spreads through routine behavior. Pressure settles over every occupied zone without interruption or relief. Forward motion ordered commands. Shape the direction of the crowd. Regulated access determines every transition. Through guarded territory, every instruction demands acceptance. Every boundary enforced control, and the surrounding landscape transforms into a network. Supervision, restriction, enforcement to the ends. Ellen Van Grace echo through enclosed avenues. Inspection teams verify adherence to protocol. Tactical formation, secure strategic exit intersections, and entire districts adapt their behavior in the persistent regulation. Embedded into every visible structure and routine. No unsupervised corner remains as oversight expands through connected facilities. Monitoring infrastructure reaches deeper into occupied territory. Deviation triggers immediate response. Procedural control hardens and torrents strengthens, and even there'll be a continuous enforcement
this sufficient. Elevator soda, so I have to face the need. Don't put this collision, I'm just sufficient. Splintered girders hang above hollow factory pits, while concrete slabs slide from broken anchors into clouds of gray debris. Fractured stairwells twist beside leaning support columns, shatter panels scatter beneath collapsing platforms, rusted joints tear apart under shifting weight. Maintenance rails buckle over widening gaps, distant impacts roll through empty chambers, and every remaining strut against a spreading chain of rupture and descent, consuming the surrounding space piece by piece. Dust pours through exposed interiors as hidden cracks race beneath exhausted surfaces. Weaken other sections, suspended masses, then the wine is left below together, split through every damaged layer left cross-boundary broken, a ditcher descends into expanding ruin, shatters releasing entire section of voids below. Every collapse, every infectious fight, another failure, again track destruction, the connected remains unsealed order. Mangled walkways hang over fractured depths, while damaged flooring caves beneath accumulated strain. Exposed reinforcement bends, torn concrete shells, axes appear under fallen wreckage, deformed beside collapsing partitions. Heavy assemblies crash through lower levels, scattered fragments ricochet through dark enclosures and whole sectors. Engineering fallen cores, cracked foundations transfer pressure into weakened remnants. Descending mass to generate new fault lines, bury fractures widen beneath concept. And rates the next through a relentless chain of destruction and instability. Crumbling. Sections continue falling through expanding fields of wreckage, fractured columns surrender beneath impossible load. Exposed interior split apart under mounting pressure. Failure feeds, failure connect to surface and environment advance. Toracally, dust, three more ruined chambers, twisted steel rests upon shattered concrete. Distant echoes fade beneath debris, and the final remnants disappear into silence and collapse. Sealed passageways extend through dim containment sectors, while reinforced barriers divide isolated compartments from every surrounding route. Massive security doors, reaming lock via mechanism, windows drawn thick partitions, access panels require multiple clearances before activation. Still shutters block secondary corridors, restricted junctions terminate without escape options. Surveillance fixtures overlook silent checkpoints, and every visible boundary strengthens an environment built upon confinement. Separation and deliberate restriction of moving. Break the rules diminish with each secure threshold. As reinforced variations eliminate all security process. Control entry reflection. The surrounding condition of the surrounding structure.
A distant position, fortified barriers dominate every accessible direction through absolute containment. Every checkpoint is check progression, every seal passing nation just denying authorized transition. Heavy partitions, isolated joining sectors, emergency routes, terminated, sealed barriers, inspection zones. Regulate every permitted transfer monitoring post, oversee restricting circulation in entire complexes. Function through deliberate compartmentalization designed to prevent unrestricted travel, connection or departure from assigned areas. No unguarded route emerges. Containment measures overlap through connected.
Circuit bombs raised. We need to fight it right the unspoken. Why secure table? Heartbeats, I reset. I kick secured. Out to this portion. Eliminate uncertainty asses. Control that thing plus stable. Illuminate shots. Lock quick and resist. Resistance at this.
Isolated sectors continue operating behind Ryu's focus. Isolated sectors continue operating behind Ryu's focus. Isolated sectors continue operating behind Ryu's focus. Isolated sectors continue operating behind Ryu's focus.
Isolated sectors continue operating behind reinforced bulk carriage. Controlled access governs every transition. Restriction, restriction, restriction. Separation as they guide the environment nexus. And unbanding SX and any sectors.
Locked barriers remain unmoved beside silent checkpoints, reinforced partitions. Divide every occupied sector, restricted routes, and abruptly and continues without interruption throughout the facility.
Thunderous pressure rolls through reinforced halls, while stacked speaker walls drive violent vibration into steel support suspended fixtures. Right from within packed glass panels, fracture beneath concentrated pressure. Bolts loosen from trembling mounts, heavy flooring shivers under continuous assault. Air itself seems distorted by crushing waves of force. Scattered debris skitters across concrete surface, and every enclosed chamber absorbs another barrage of sound-driven aggression spreading through destruction without mercy.
Harmonic pressure gathers inside.
Convergence issued by Masonic forces, repeated burden of partition. Only fight take this game, time limits. Hyper force, aspects insulated is destruction to all. Destruction from by sound alone.
Massive enclosures tremble beneath sustained output within partition. Shed fragments into turbulent airport brackets warped from repeated oscillation.
Shattered glass scatters over vibrating floors. Overhead fixtures swing violently from stress. Anchors exposed, panels split under concentrated pressure. Loose materials bounce through industrial corridors, and whole sectors deteriorate as accumulated resonance. Overwhelmed, their ability to resist throughout the surrounds. Eroded
Serum durability and resistance throughout the surrounded seaweedy and resistance.
Compressed air hangs over silent loading bays while sealed bulkheads stand against mounting pressure from unseen depths. Reinforced beams creep beneath, accumulating strain, fastening plates grown inside. Motionless frameworks, narrow passageways feel tighter with every passing moment. Warning lamps remain steady yet unsettling. Stacked containers press against containment barriers.
Metallic knocks echo through enclosed sectors, and every surrounding surface carries the weight of something. Approach a pressure without release.
Tension gathers behind stillness as restrained force continues building beneath. Controlled appearances, small vibrations travel through a shirt. Stab ability begins to feel uncertain. Ashes subtly leading to peeling muscular and unnecessary grinding nest around every occupied the facility.
Reverse correction, held pressure stretches and learns toward its limit. Every second it is a nail. Expand tension and needed strength force amplifies. Unease through eye love and night and night
Lock maintenance corridors remain undisturbed while concealed stress migrates through reinforced joints. Secured access points, secured access points, secured to live behind steel partitions. Structural overload without complaint. Monitoring stations, E-tech fluctuations, subpen anchors resist decreasing force in closed compartments. Hold expanding pressure and entire sections exist beneath persistence.
train as she waits for a point of release or failure.
No visible rupture appears as concentrated burden continues gathering behind sealed surfaces. Contained force presses against every limitation. Resistance holds but weakens gradually. Uncertainty spreads through observation points, and each quiet interval deepens the sense of approaching question instability.
Compress connection into the present. Complex eviction into the pressure. So we enclose sector, hitting pressure, yo. Press rotation, pointed as bleed towards burst lines, and knees to widens a melody.
Compressions continue testing structural endurance through every enclosed sector. Hidden pressure, restraint reinforced. Restraint stability comes increasing accumulation.
Crackling conduits weave through dim utility chambers, while unstable voltage surges between overloaded junctions. Bright arcs lead from exposed terminals and car brief scores into surrounding metal relay cabinets rattle beside them in transformers. Installation peels from heated wiring, scatter sparks ricochet through narrow maintenance passages, break a housing shutter under fluctuating current. Sharp flashes illuminate industrial darkness, and every connected component endures relentless interference, spreading through tangled circuitry and energized infrastructure. Electrical turbulence intensifies around hectic equipment as irregular pulses disrupt stack conductor strength beneath sudden spikes. Protective devices engage and disengage in rapid succession. Instability migrates through link pathways that's inside every energized section. Every energized section of the network. Same condition, violent discharge tears through crowded circuits with unpredictable force. Every fluctuation introduces disruption. Every surge distorts performance through our connected clip. Bright arcs scatter from stressed connections, and the surrounding environment vibrates beneath interference. Voltage conflating instability. Electrical turbulence intensifies around active equipment as irregular pulses disrupt flow conductor strain beneath sudden spikes. Protective devices engage and disengage in rapid succession. Instability migrates through link pathway. Instability migrates through link pathway. Disturbance to every active connector. Secret assemblies operate beneath sterile illumination, while synchronized mechanisms repeat identical routines through vast industrial chambers. Articulated units align with measured precision. Advancing flawlessly indicators.
Pulse at fixed intervals, polished rails, got an interrupted progression. Inspection, erase, verify exact positioning. Coordinated actuators perform without hesitation or deviation, and every surrounding element contributes to a landscape governed by repetition, accuracy, and unwavering procedural consistency.
Measure altitude oxygen until we just upon this something and treat it reaching out there with delay until we just for the dictator dollar and then a cut for dollar and the
Endless production. Corridor stretch beneath, controlled illumination, automated, grip and maintain exact spacing, reoperation, monitoring the parts, articulated components, alarm, it took the when at identical positions, pursuant involves inspection mechanism, verify, flawless execution, and entire sectors remain locked into carefully maintained order through repetition, consistency, and discipline, procedural control.
no irregular influence disrupts the arrangement that's synchronized.
Nigga, timing govers to create a timing govers to coordinate a mission, rivers, sometimes flawless execution, make a wish, and bodies from its entire dimension, then right out into top and then this entire.
Take clear. Three chances from this subplane. And GNFC on waiver BA to win. Just wanna be just like it and get a comfort like in the BA.
Perfectly regulated, untouched. Perfectly regulated, notations.
Erratic machinery lunges beyond program limbs, while automated actuators snap through unintended girl. Accelerate without authorization, tracking units veer from a sign route. Control interfaces flow with conflicting indicators. Hydraulic arms strike empty space and chaotic repetition. Safety barriers deploy, too late to contain deviation. Rotating mechanisms spin past designated thresholds. Alarms echo through crowded facilities, and every active component abandons vertical behavior for escalating disorder and mechanical unpredictability. Established responses fail under mounting irregularity as corrective routine lose effectiveness. Monitor parameters drift beyond acceptable ranges. Synchronize operation breaks apart. Intervention arrives too slowly. Uncertain expands through connected equipment, and instability spreads through every active section of the installation. Unanswered call, amazing. Overactive sector with increasing disorder. Catalytic malfunction generates fresh disruption. Every inspected action disappears beneath erratic behavior. And this rapidly changing conditions, containment measures activate after damage is already spread. Emergency overrides fail to restore coordination, and entire facilities endure cascading irregularity as uncontrolled processes multiply beyond effect and intervention and management. No reliable pattern remains as deviation expands to interconnected equipment. Corrective measures collide with unexpected responses. Program limitations lose authority. Operational certainty disappears, and each passing moment drags at the 31st from predictable behavior and strict execution. An unchecked operation through reactive sector with increasing disorder. Fresh disruption, every unexpected action disappears beneath the erratic intervention.
reverberate through active halls. Uncontrolled, the twip continues its erratic course. Scatter faults, multi that without restraint, unpredictable upper reach.
Corrupted archives spread through illuminated server halls, while altered records replace verified entries inside cloud storage. Erased, fragmented packets scattered through overloaded channels. Verification terminals display complete databases, return distorted histories, encrypted repositories. Could see manipulated revision, tracking logs diverge from documented events. Authentication layers accept contaminated inputs, and every connected repository absorbs another wave of falsified material, spreading deeper through digital infrastructure and recording knowledge.
Reliable, real information begins to forge as comforting data multiplies through and to millions.
Reliable information begins to fracture as confide can turn as a conventional to network.
Buried to nation. Buried to nation. Watches and watches and watches. Buried to nation. Buried to nation. Watches and watches and watches over the pain. Compromised terminals process manipulated inputs, while altered indexes redirect investigations toward an accurate conclusion for its timestamps. Replace authentic chronology, damage data sets, contaminate link repository, duplicated errors propagate through analytical systems, monitoring interfaces. Contradictory outcomes, recovery efforts uncover deeper alteration, and entire collections become unreliable as accumulated corruption overwhelms verification. Consistency and documented accuracy across the network.
No trusted reference remains untouched as contamination migrates through interconnected repositories, alter records.
Reinforce additional distortion.
Verification.
Chains collapse beneath conflicting evidence. Certainty becomes difficult and establish attempt to correction exposes wider layers of manipulation. Immediate informational decay. Hardware's forward season. Losses and aces all counted as agents. And some of them guaranteed bases. Strategies equal for everything done disappears. And the environment advanced through falsification, contamination, confusion, information, and vocation. Yeah, hey. Watches and watches and watches and duplicate.
Roaring engines drive relentless, thrust through illuminated transport lanes, while reinforced chassis surge beneath escalating velocity. Tire walls grip heated pavement with violent force. Aerodynamic panels cut through dense air resistance. Overhead markers streak into blurred fragments. Tunnel lights collapse into flashing bands. Acceleration presses harder with every passing second. Suspension components absorb constant impact, and the entire route transforms into a corridor of momentum, propulsion, and unchecked forward drive, demanding greater speed at every interval. Mechanical force continues building as resistance loses influence. Measure limits fade behind. Rising pace, surrounding detail becomes indistinct reaction. Windows narrow where the mountain velocity pressure gathers through every acting component. Elongated viewpoint surging.
Now the last in the greatest speed, a heated turbine sustain overwhelming output, while rotating assemblies operate near maximum capacity. Reinforced drivetrains transfer force through vibrating instruction. Markers flash by in rapid succession. Surrounding terrain dissolves into fleeting shapes, breaking distant stretches beyond expectation.
Mechanical stress grows alongside performance. Airflow tears against exposed surfaces, and every remaining reserve is converted into raw advancement through continuous propulsion and escalating pace.
No reduction occurs as thrust continue expanding through waste-laden, through actin machine resistance falls away beneath concentrated force. See the explosion takes to burst while the shouldn't been slumped into speech and walk should in a burst beneath got flown in earth. Be watching true like what it pushes what a maximum I'm a shrine that boss man. I'm a shrine that boss man. I'm a shrine that boss man. I'm a shrine that boss man.
Corroded plating flakes from abandoned processing towers, while chemical residue creeps along fractured surfaces. Beneath stain illumination, oxidized beams weaken under persistent decay. Contaminated runoff stains concrete channels, damaged pipework leaks. Corrosive fluid into neglected service zones. Blister coatings peel from structural cells. Rust spreads through neglected fasteners. Brittle support shed fragments into polluted drainage paths. And every exposed material endures a slow but relentless advance of deterioration and contamination. Visible damage expands beyond isolated sections. A corrosive influence reaches adjoining sectors. Weakened material, surrender resistant, stained surfaces reveal deeper degradation. Contaminated residue accumulates inside the neglected recession.
Gradual dissection, external sterilization, vulnerable component left in spawns through decay and erosion.
Altered ain't asked, the more it goes in its veins and advance through damage that the structural with patient persistence for a kick in the same. Been a game that's from permeating tendon, the cystic compartments that kick compartments brittle. Conduits fracture under accumulated damage, stained reservoirs overflow into adjacent sectors, deteriorating joints separate from aging assemblies, exposed hardware loses integrity beneath. Chemical attack and entire facilities descend into progressive decline as degradation propagates through interconnected materials and structures without resistance or recovery. No unaffected surface remains as corrosion reaches deeper layers up and nation migrates through connected systems.
Weakened materials from rendered resistant, skin surface that reveal to the termination. Erosion feeds corrosion decay.
Deterioration, structural damage, and relentless material decline, spreading ever farther outward, outward. Rusted fragments scattered in the earth.
Blazing containment vessels tremble beneath impossible pressure while overloaded reactors force
violent energy through reinforced chambers. Emergency indicators saturate every control surface with critical warnings. Cooling reserves vanish into rising heat. Reinforced housings deform under escalating stress. Shock waves ripple through surrounding infrastructure. Fracture conduits release bursts of unstable force. Monitoring stations struggle to process. Accelerating failures in every active component approaches a final threshold where accumulated instability can no longer be restrained.
Many safeguards weaken beneath overwhelming escalation as critical value surge. Beyond calculated limits, emergency responses lose effectiveness.
Structural resist state instability compounds instability compares to the irreversible consequence. Vanish presence. Approaching limits collapse beneath unstoppable escalation. Vanish presence. Every witness to rest to praise the Lord of action. Every barrier, strength, force of activeness. Structural resistance is utility compounds and fake Japan hit assemblies convulse beneath expanding burden. While damage containment structures absorb repeated impacts from internal violence. Emergency shutters buckle under extreme force. Fractures surrender to escalating pressure. Violent discharge erupts to weaken barriers. Collapsing infrastructure spreads disruption into neighboring sectors.
Our networks become overwhelmed by cascading faults and entire facilities. Passenger accelerating breakdown as every remaining safeguard loses authority against mounting catastrophe and chain reaction.
No stabilizing influence survives as accumulated force overwhelms protective measures. Critical thresholds disappear beneath intense latent barriers fail one after another. Pressure converts directly into destruction, and each successive failure drives the environment closer to total uncontrolled release and collapse. Run the escalation consumes. Surveillance installation. Slaps every remaining layer of resistance through. Saturation, heat, saturation. Accelerates, collapse, collapse. Protective measures disappear. Structural endurance ends, and the environment advances to rupture. Overload, chain reaction, incomplete rival and catastrophic. Criticality, beyond containment or recovery. Warning lights vanish beneath violent release. Fractures expanding into destruction. Shockwaves sweep through the remains, and catastrophic escalation reaches its final limit.
Overheated processor, vaults pulse beneath relentless demand. We're cooling turbines for scorching air through crowded service corridors. Warning indicators, flood control panels with escalating alerts. Transformer housings vibrate under excessive load. Storage arrays struggle beneath endless transfers. Reserve module activating rapid succession power conduits on their critical thresholds. Between echoes rush, between active sectors, and every connected assembly absorbs mounting pressure far beyond sustainable limits of performance and endurance.
As valuable capacity shrinks beneath uninterrupted consumption, as thermal billy spreads into neighboring equipment, response delays multiply, protection routine without restoring balance, burden accumulates faster than recovery can occur, and operational strain deepen through every layer of infrastructure.
Final opening, saturated machinery operates at the edge of failure. Every process generates tensional burden. Every request drives steam through crowded pathways. Warning levels continue climbing.
Dense equip halls resonate with escalating intensity, while routing models redirect excessive demand through constrained channels. Sealed enclosures trap expanding heat around critical components, switching assemblies hesitate beneath continuous pressure. Emergency bypasses transfer burden into weakened sectors. Monitoring interfaces filled with cascading faults, and entire operational zones descend into fatigue as
Accumulated workload overwhelms remaining reserves and tolerance. margins. Little operating saturated machinery, alright to the edge of failure. Every process generating good, every request gesture through crowded pathways. Warning tunnels, burning assemblies continue beneath the overwhelming demand of persistent congestion. Stress processes overthrew expanding kilos while temperature surge beyond signal diverters. Degradation spread, efficiency falls, instability weakens in the environment. Advance to work complete on the road. New accumulation, exhaustion, and escalating elevation of pressure.
Cooling systems battle rising heat. Warning displays remain saturated with alerts. Stress components tremble behind sealed housings, and remaining reserves disappear beneath relentless overload and failure.
Surging footfalls hammer through overcrowded transit plazas. Wild end streams of bodies pour from packed underpasses into narrowing avenues. Metal barricades scrape across pavement under mounting pressure. Abandoned singing tilts above chaotic intersections. Scattered objects tumble beneath rushing waves of activity. Railways tremble under concentrated weight. Voices merge into a single relentless roar, and every adjoining block absorbs another burst of collective force driven by urgency reaction. Accelerating tensions, dissolve beneath growing density. As converging groups merge into larger currents of invitation, disappears directional guidance, loses meaning. Emergency instructions vanish beneath overwhelming volume, and tension expands ahead. Crowded route feeding a surge ahead. Congested stairwells funnel swelling crowds into rubble huddle arm courses, while temporary barriers collapse under beaten packs. Fractured railings bend beside crowded platforms. Cascades buckle beneath concentrated force. Discarded material scattered through turbulent air. Observation point soars visibility. Communication fragments and endures when it's scientists. As converging groups merge to larger currents. Activities that disappears directional guidance, loses meaning. Emergency instructions vanish beneath overwhelming volume, and tension expands ahead. Devolution, intensely, and unchecked escalation. Individual judgment and the growing mass drives its overflowing corridors continue channeling relentless master damage intersections and crowded sectors. Compress, rank, push, complex, set, push, complex, rank, push, without set, push, with leg set, push, the depths. Overflowing corridors continue channeling. Barricaded corridors stretch beneath harsh inspection lamps, while armored patrol units regulate every passage through segmented districts. Reinforced gates divide crowded compounds into monitor sectors. Identification scanners flash beside concrete checkpoints. Directive screens dominate steel walls. Surveillance lenses track each gesture from elevated platform. Restricted routes, narrow temporal junctions, and every visible path bends beneath expanding authority. Enforced through presence, procedure, and constant observation. Approval becomes the price of entry as iterations tighten around daily. Communication passes through inspection. Independent action meets resistance. Compliance spreads through routine behavior, and pressure settles over every occupied zone without interruption or relief.
Forward motion ordered commence.
supervision. Through guarded territory, every instruction demands acceptance. Every boundary involves control, and the surrounding landscape transforms into a network. Supervision, restriction, enforcement to the ends. Element rares echo through enclosed avenues. Inspection teams verify adherence to protocol. Tactical formation sectors with de-exit intersections, and entire districts adapt their behavior in the persistent regulation. Embedded into every visible structure and routine. No unsupervised corner remains as oversight expands through connected facilities. Monitoring infrastructure reaches deeper into occupied territory. Deviation triggers immediate response. Procedural control hardens and torrents. Strengthens and even there'll be a continuous enforcement of compliance.
Beneath broken supervision, guarded this is questions. Viginating on its only up beneath the meaning, the number super fresh, it's supervision, guarded this is question.
Splintered girders hang above hollow factory pits, while concrete slabs slide from broken acres into clouds of gray debris. Fractured stairwells twist beside lean-in support columns. Shadow panels scatter beneath collapsing platforms. Rusted joints tear apart under shifting weight. Maintenance rails buckle over widening gaps. Distant impacts roll through empty chambers, and every remaining strug against a spreading chain of rupture and descent, consuming the surrounding space piece by piece. Dust pours through exposed interiors as hidden cracks race beneath exhausted surfaces. Weaken other sections, suspended masses. Tender wine is spit below together, bleed through every damaged layer left standing. Cross-boundary broken, a ditch descends into expanding ruin shatters, releasing entire section of voids below. Every collapse, every infection, spot another failure. Ever again, track destruction through connected remains and order. Mangled walkways hang over fractured depths, while damaged flooring caves beneath accumulated strain. Exposed reinforcement bends, torn concrete shells, axes appear under fallen wreckage. Deformed beside collapsing partitions, heavy assemblies crash through lower levels. Scattered fragments ricochet through dark enclosures and whole sectors. And we're staring at fallen cores, cracked foundations transfer pressure into weakened remnants. Descending mass to generate new fault lines, bury fractures widen beneath the mesh rates the next through a relentless chain of destruction and instability. Crumbling. Sections continue falling through expanding fields of wreckage. Fractured columns surrender beneath impossible load. Exposed interior split apart under mounting pressure. Failure feeds failure, connected surface and environment advance. Thoracolate. Dust. 3 more ruined chambers. Twisted steel. Rest upon shattered concrete. Distant echoes fade beneath debris, and the final remnants disappear in a silence and collapse. passageways extend through dim containment sectors, while reinforced barriers divide isolated compartments from every surrounding route. Massive security doors, reaming lock via mechanism, windows drawn thick, partitions, access panels require multiple clearances before activation. Still shutters block secondary corridors, restricted junctions terminate without escape options. Surveillance fixtures overlook silent checkpoints, and every visible boundary strengthens an environment built upon confinement, separation, and deliberate restriction of movement. Vapor boots diminish with each secure threshold. Let's reinforce barriers, eliminate alternate courses, control entry points, narrow remaining options. Lock thinking exists, who just flicks their function.
Confinement deep into a re-enclosed flexion. The surrounding condition of the surrounding structure.
A distant position, fortified barriers dominate every accessible direction through absolute containment. Every checkpoint is chess progression, every slip past the nation's denying authorized transition. Heavy partitions, isolated joining sectors, emergency routes, terminated, sealed barriers, inspection zones. Regulate every permitted transfer monitoring post. Oversee restricting circulation in entire complexes. Function through deliberate compartmentalization designed to prevent unrestricted travel, connection or departure from a scientific. Yes, no one guarded route emerges. Its containment measures overlap through connected.
Circuit boundaries, willing to fight it right in first pockets. Why secure?
Isolated sectors continue operating behind reinforced bulkheads. Controlled access governs every transition. Restriction, restriction, restriction. Separation is the gap in the environment axis. And unbanding is axiomatic sectors.
Lock barriers remain unmoved beside silent checkpoints, reinforced partitions. Divide every occupied sector, restricted routes, and abruptly and continues without interruption throughout the facility.
Through reinforced halls, while stacked speaker walls drive violent vibration into steel support suspended fixtures. Right from within impact glass panels, fracture beneath concentrated pressure, bolts loosen from trembling mounts. Heavy flooring shivers under continuous assault. Air itself seems distorted by crushing waves of force, scattered debris skitters across concrete surface, and every enclosed chamber absorbs another barrage of sound-driven aggression spreading through destruction without mercy.
Harmonic pressure gathers inside.
Enclosures tremble beneath sustained output, while fractured partitions shed fragments into turbulent airport brackets warped from repeated oscillation. Shattered glass scatters over vibrating floors. Overhead fixtures swing violently from stress. Anchors exposed, panels split under concentrated pressure. Loose materials bounce through industrial corridors, and whole sectors deteriorate as accumulated resonance.
Durability and resistance to unsurrounded duality and resistance.
Compressed air hangs over silent loading bays while sealed bulkheads stand against mounting pressure from unseen depths. Reinforced beams creep beneath, accumulating strain, fastening plates grown inside motionless frameworks. Narrow passageways feel tighter with every passing moment. Warning lamps remain steady yet unsettling. Stacked containers press against containment barriers.
Metallic knocks echo through enclosed sectors, and every surrounding surface carries the weight of something approaching a pressure without release.
Tension gathers behind stillness as restrained force continues building beneath. Controlled appearances, small vibrations travel through a shirt. Stab ability begins to feel uncertain. That's just subtly it is appealing muscular. And I'm messing grinding that's around every occupied the facility.
Reverse direction, held pressure stretches and learns toward its limit. Every second it is a nail. Band tension and needed strength force amplifies. Unleashed through eye love and modern
Lock maintenance corridors remain undisturbed while concealed stress migrates through reinforced joints. Secured access going, secured access points secured to live behind steel partitions. Structural overload without complaint. Monitoring stations, E-tech fluctuations, subpen anchors resist decreasing force in closed compartments. Hold expanding pressure and entire sections exist beneath persistence.
Trainless, she waits for a point of release or failure.
No visible rupture appears as concentrated burden continues gathering behind sea surfaces. Contained force presses against every limitation. Resistance holds but weakens gradually. Uncertainty spreads through observation. Points in each quiet interval deepens the sense of approaching present instability.
Compressed connection into the present. Complex prediction into the pressure. Slowly enclosed sector, hitting extra rotation. Pointed is weak, what's hard for stones and needs to widens a melody.
Compressions continue testing structural endurance through every enclosed sector. Hidden pressure, restraint reinforced. Restraint stability comes increasing accumulation.
Crackling conduits weave through dim utility chambers, while unstable voltage surges between overloaded junctions. Bright arcs lead from exposed terminals and carve brief scars into surrounding metal relay cabinets rattle beside them in transformers. Installation peels from heated wiring, scatter sparks ricochet through narrow maintenance passages, break a housing shutter under fluctuating current. Sharp flashes illuminate industrial darkness, and every connected component endures relentless interference, spreading through tangled circuitry and energized infrastructure. Electrical turbulence intensifies around active equipment as irregular pulses disrupt stack inductor strength beneath sudden spikes. Protective devices engage disengage in rapid succession. Instability migrates through link pathways that's inside every energized section. Every energized section of the network. Same condition, violent discharge tears through crowded circuits with unpredictable force. Every fluctuation introduces rupture. Every surge distorts performance through our connect equip. Bright arcs scatter from stressed connections, and the surrounding environment vibrates beneath interference, voltage conflating, instability. Electrical turbulence intensifies around active equipment as irregular pulses disrupt flow conductor stream beneath sudden spikes. Protective devices disengage in rapid succession. Instability migrates through link pathway. Instability migrates through link pathway. Disturbance through every active connector.
快到喽！
assemblies operate beneath sterile illumination, while synchronized mechanisms repeat identical routines through vast industrial chambers. Articulated units align with measured precision, advancing flawless thing indicators.
Pulse at fixed intervals, polished rails, got an interrupted progression. Inspection, erase, verify exact positioning. Coordinated actuators perform without hesitation or deviation, and every surrounding element contributes to a landscape governed by repetition, accuracy, and unwavering procedural consistency.
Measure up to the oxygen until we just upon this happen and trading with jumping with delay until we just for the victim father and then a breath for father and the
Endless production. Corridor stretch beneath, controlled illumination, automated, grip and maintain exact spacing, theory operation, monitoring the parts, articulated components, alignment, took the win at identical positions, pursuing intervals, inspection mechanism, verify, flawless execution, and entire sectors remain locked into carefully maintained order through repetition, consistency, and discipline, procedural control.
no irregular influence disrupts the arrangement as synchronized.
The timing governs to create a timing governs to coordinated mission, rivers and flawless execution, decoration, and bodies from mixing, top dimension, bending, right out of the top and
Technically, regions upon this upland, and GNFC, to win. Just wanna be just like it, and get a comfort, working the
perfectly regulated. Perfectly regulated notations.
Erratic machinery lunges beyond program limbs, while automated actuators snap through unintended curves. Accelerate without authorization, tracking units veer from assigned routes. Control interfaces flood with conflicting indicators. Hydraulic arms strike empty space and chaotic repetition. Safety barriers deploy, too late to contain deviation. Rotating mechanisms spin past designated thresholds. Alarms echo through crowded facilities, and every active component abandons virginable behavior for escalating disorder and mechanical unpredictability. Established responses fail under mounting irregularity as corrective routine lose effectiveness. Monitor parameters drift beyond acceptable ranges. Synchronize operation breaks apart. Intervention arrives too slowly. Uncertain expands through connected equipment, and instability spreads through every active section of the installation. Unanswered coronation, overactive sector with increasing disorder. Cuddling malfunction generates fresh disruption. Every inspected action disappears beneath erratic behavior. And this rapidly changing conditions, containment measures activate after damage is already spread. Emergency overrides fail to restore coordination, and entire facilities endure cascading irregularity as uncontrolled processes multiply beyond effective intervention and management. No reliable pattern remains as deviation expands to interconnected equipment. Corrective measures collide with unexpected responses. Program limitations lose authority. Operational certainty disappears, and each passing moment drags set to 30 from predictable behavior and strict execution. An unchecked operation through reactive sector with increasing disorder. Fresh disruption, every unexpected action disappears beneath the erratic intervention.
Warning alarms reverberate through active halls. Uncontrolled, the twip continues its erratic course. Scatter faults, multi-thought without restraint and predictable upper reach.
Corrupted archives spread through illuminated server halls, while altered records replace verified entries inside. Crowded storage erased, fragmented packets scattered through overloaded channels. Verification terminals display complete bases, return distorted histories, encrypted repositories. Could see manipulated revision, tracking logs diverse from documented events, authentication layers. Accept contaminated inputs, and every connected repository absorbs another wave of falsified material, spreading deeper through digital infrastructure and recording knowledge.
Reliable, real information begins to forge as converting data multipass through and to millions.
Reliable information begins to fracture as confide can turn as the foundation of network.
Buried to nation. Buried to nation. Watches, buried to nation. Buried to nation. Watches. Compromised terminals process manipulated inputs, while altered indexes redirect investigations toward an accurate conclusion. Force timestamps replace authentic chronology, damage data sets contaminate linked repositories, duplicated errors propagate through analytical systems, monitoring interface phases, block predictory outcomes, recovery efforts uncover deeper alteration, and entire collections become unreliable as accumulated corruption overwhelms verification. Consistency and documented accuracy across the network.
No trusted reference remains untouched as contamination migrates through interconnected repositories altered records.
Reinforce additional distortion.
Verification.
Change collapse beneath conflicting evidence. Certainty becomes difficult and what's happening? Attempt to correction exposes wider layers of manipulation. Prevent informational decay. Heartbreak forward season. Lost these sensations. All counted in hatred. And some guarantee your basis. Easy for everything he does disappears. And the environment advanced through falsification, contamination, confusion, information application. Yeah, hey. Watches, duplicate.
Roaring engines drive relentless thrust through illuminated transport lanes, while reinforced chassis surge beneath escalating velocity. Tire walls grip heated pavement with violent force. Aerodynamic panels cut through dense air resistance. Overhead markers streak into blurred fragments. Tunnel lights collapse into flashing bands. Acceleration presses harder with every passing second. Suspension components absorb constant impact, and the entire route transforms into a corridor of momentum, propulsion, and unchecked forward drive, demanding greater speed at every interval. Mechanical force continues building as resistance loses influence. Measure limits fade behind. Rising pace, surrounding detail becomes indistinct reaction. Windows narrow where the mountain velocity pressure gathers through every active component. Elevated viewpoint surging. Power launches the journey beyond. Ordinary pace, every burst creates greater urgency. Every gain demands another.
Now the last in the greatest speed, a heated turbine sustain overwhelming output, while rotating assemblies operate near maximum capacity. Reinforced drivetrains transfer force through vibrating structure. Markers flash by in rapid succession. Surrounding terrain dissolves into fleeting shapes, breaking distant stretches beyond expectation.
Mechanical stress grows alongside performance. Airflow tears against exposed surfaces, and every remaining reserve is converted into raw advancement through continuous propulsion and escalating pace.
No reduction occurs as thrust continue expanding through waste-laden, through active machine resistance falls away beneath concentrated force. Leave explosion takes to burst. Well, it shouldn't have been slumped. Inches between rockets should have sent a burst. And it got flown and burst. Be wise that you like what it pushes for the maximum burst. Stream advancement, I'm a stream that boss me. I'm a stream that runs me. I'm a stream that boss me. On the stream of fans me.
Corroded plating flakes from abandoned processing towers, while chemical residue creeps along fractured surfaces. Beneath stain illumination, oxidized beams weaken under persistent decay. Contaminated runoff stains concrete into neglected service zones. Blister coatings peel from structural cells. Rust spreads through neglected fasteners. Brittle support shed fragments into polluted drainage paths. And every exposed material endures a slow but relentless advance of deterioration and contamination. Visible damage expands beyond.
Gradual dissection, external still, leisure tolerable component left in spawns through decay and erosion.
Artidines, the more it goes in its veins and advance through damage that the structure we patient persistence for it kicking the same. Benedane, some bromate and tendinate, the cystic compartments to kick compartments, brittle. Conduits fracture under accumulated damage. Stained reservoirs overflow into adjacent sectors. Deteriorating joints separate from aging assemblies. Exposed hardware loses integrity beneath. Chemical attack and entire facilities descend into progressive decline as degradation propagates through interconnected materials and structures without resistance or recovery. No unaffected surface remains as corrosion reaches deeper layers. Up in nation migrates through connected systems.
Looking materials for better resistance. Skin service entropy up to the termination. Erosion feeds corrosion decay.
Deterioration, structural damage, and relent material decline, spreading ever farther outward, outward.
Blazing containment vessels tremble beneath impossible pressure while overloaded reactors force violent energy through reinforced chambers. Emergency indicators saturate every control surface with cradle warnings. Cooling reserves vanish into rising heat. Reinforced housings deform under escalating stress. Shock waves ripple through surrounding infrastructure. Fractured conduits release bursts of unstable force. Monitoring stations struggle to process. Accelerating failures in every active component approaches a final threshold where accumulated instability can no longer be
restraint.
Remaining safeguards weaken beneath overwhelm escalation as critical value surge. Beyond calculated limits, emergency responses lose effectiveness.
Structure will resist state instability, compounds instability compares to the irreversible consequence. Vanish presence. Approaching limits collapse beneath unstoppable escalation. Vanish presence. Every reminiscent rest to praise the moment back to that barrier, strength, force of activeness. Structural resistance is to living compounds and feature bent needed assemblies convulse beneath expanding burden. While damage containment structures absorb repeated impacts from internal violence. Emergency shutters buckle under extreme force. Fractures surrender to escalating pressure. Violent discharge erupts the weakened barriers. Collapsing infrastructure spreads disruption into neighboring sectors.
Alarm networks become overwhelmed by cascading faults and entire facilities. Passenger accelerating breakdown as every remaining safeguard is authority against mounting catastrophe and chain reaction.
No stabilizing influence survives as accumulated force overwhelms protective measures. Critical thresholds disappear beneath intensificating barriers fail one after another. Pressure converts directly into destruction, and each successive failure drives the environment closer to total uncontrolled release and collapse. Run the escalation consumes. Circulated installation. Slaps every remaining layer of resistance through. Saturation and saturation. Accelerates. Collapse. Collapse. Protective measures. Insecure. Structural endurance ends. And the environment advanced to rupture. Overload. Chain reaction. Incomplete rival and catastrophic. Criticality. Beyond containment or recovery. Warning lights vanish beneath violent release. Fractures expanding into a destruction. Shockwaves sweep through the remains. And catastrophic escalation reaches its final limit.
Overheated processor, vaults pulse beneath relentless demand. We're cooling turbines for scorching air through crowded service corridors. Warning indicators, flow control panels with escalating alerts. Transformer housings vibrate under excessive load. Storage arrays struggle beneath endless transfers. Reserve module activating rapid succession power conduits on their critical thresholds. Between echoes rush between active sectors, and every connected assembly absorbs mounting pressure far beyond sustainable limits of performance and endurance.
As travel low capacity shrinks beneath uninterrupted consumption, as thermal belly spreads into neighboring equipment, response delays multiply, protection routine without restoring balance, burden accumulates faster than recovery can occur, and operational strain deepen through every layer of infrastructure.
Final opening, saturated machinery operates at the edge of failure. Every process generates tensional burden. Every request drives steam through crowded pathways. Warning levels continue climbing.
Equip halls resonate with escalating intensity, while routing models redirect excessive demand through constrained channels. Sealed enclosures trap expanding heat around critical components, switching assemblies hesitate beneath continuous pressure. Emergency bypasses transfer burden into weakened sectors. Monitoring interfaces filled with cascading faults, and entire operational zones descend into fatigue as
Accumulated workload overwhelms remaining reserves and tolerance margins.
no surplus.
Final opening, saturated machinery operates at the edge of failure. Every process generates tensional good. Every request gestion through crowded pathways. Warning tunnels.
converge. Beyond sacral error, does degradation spread? Efficiency falls, instability weakens in the environment. Advance to work complete on the road through accumulation, exhaustion, and escalating up relational pressure.
Cooling systems battle rising heat. Warning displays remain saturated with alerts. Stress components tremble behind sealed housings, and remaining reserves disappear beneath relentless overload and failure.
Surging footfalls hammer through overcrowded transit plazas. Wild end streams of bodies pour from packed underpasses into narrowing avenues. Metal barricades scrape across pavement under mounting pressure, abandoned singing tilts above chaotic intersections. Scattered objects tumble beneath rushing waves of activity. Railways tremble under concentrated weight. Voices merge into a single relentless roar, and every adjoining block absorbs another burst of collective force driven by urgency reaction. Crowded route feeding a surge ahead. Congested stairwells funnel swelling crowds into rubble out of line courses, while temporary barriers collapse under beat impacts. Fractured railings bend beside crowded platforms. Cascades buckle beneath concentrated force. Discarded material scattered through turbulent air. Observation point soars visibility. Communication fragments zillion jurors when it's scientists. As converging groups merge to larger currents. Activities that disappears. Directional guidance loses meaning. Emergency instructions vanish beneath overwhelming volume. Intention expands ahead. Convolution, intensity, and unchecked escalation. Individual judgment goes. And the grand mass tries overflowing corridors continue channeling. Relentless bends through damaged intersections and crowded sectors. Compressed rank push, compress set push, compressed rank push. Without set push, the deck set push, the decks. Overflowing corridors continue channeling. Barricaded corridors stretch beneath harsh inspection lamps, while armored patrol units regulate every passage through. Segmented districts, reinforced gates divide crowded compounds into monitor sectors. Identification scanners flash beside concrete checkpoints. Directive screens dominate steel walls. Surveillance lenses track each gesture from elevated platform. Restricted routes, narrow temporal junctions, and every visible path bends beneath expanding authority. Enforced through presence, procedure, and constant observation. Approval becomes the price of entry as iterations tighten around daily. Communication passes through inspection. Independent action meets resistance. Compliance spreads through routine behavior, and pressure settles over every occupied zone without interruption or relief.
Forward motion ordered commands.
Shape the direction of the crowd. Regulated access determines every transition through guarded territory. Every instruction demands acceptance. Every boundary enforces control, and the surrounding landscape transforms into a network. Supervision, restriction, enforcement to the end. beams. Ellen Van Rest, echo through enclosed avenues. Inspection teams verify adherence to protocol. Tactical formation, security, exit intersections, and entire districts adapt their behavior in the persistent regulation. Embedded into every visible structure and routine. No unsupervised corner remains as oversight expands through connected facilities. Monitoring infrastructure reaches deeper into occupied territory. Deviation triggers immediate response. Procedural control hardens and torrents. Strengthens and even there'll be a continuous enforcement of compliance.
Allegations of the story up pits beneath the broken supervision. Guarded this is waste chapter. Vegetating building solely up your things to meet. The number supervision.
Splintered girders hang above hollow factory pits, while concrete slabs slide from broken anchors into clouds of gray debris. Fractured stairwells twist beside lean in support columns. Shadow panels scatter beneath collapsing platforms. Rusted joints tear apart under shifting weight. Maintenance rails buckle over widening gaps. Distant impacts roll through empty chambers, and every remaining struggle against a spreading chain of rupture and descent, consuming the surrounding space piece by piece. Dust pours through exposed interiors as hidden cracks race beneath exhausted surfaces. Weaken other sections, suspended masses. Tender violence with below together. Speed through every damaged layer left standing. Cross-boundary broken, the ditcher descends into expanding ruin shatters, releasing entire section of voids below. Every collapse, every infection spot, another failure. Ever again, track destruction, the connected remains unsealed order. Mangled walkways hang over fractured depths, while damaged flooring caves beneath accumulated strain. Exposed reinforcement bends, torn concrete shells, axes appear under fallen wreckage. Deformed beside collapsing partitions, heavy assemblies crash through lower levels. Scattered fragments ricochet through dark enclosures and whole sectors. Embers steering falling cores, cracked foundations transfer pressure into weakened remnants. Descending mass to generate new fault lines, bury fractures wide and beneath concept. And macerates the next through a relentless chain of destruction and instability. Crumbling. Crumbling sections continue falling through expanding fields of wreckage. Fractured columns surrender beneath impossible load. Exposed interior split apart under mounting pressure. Failure feeds failure, connected surface and environment advance. Thoracoly. Dust. 3 more ruined chambers. Twisted steel rests upon shattered concrete. Distant echoes fade beneath debris, and the final remnants disappear into silence and collapse. Sealed passageways extend through dim containment sectors, while reinforced barriers divide isolated compartments from every surrounding route. Massive security doors, reaming lock via mechanism. Windows will run thick partitions, access panels require multiple clearances before activation. Still shutters block secondary corridors, restricted junctions terminate without escape options. Surveillance fixtures overlook silent checkpoints, and every visible boundary strengthens an environment built upon confinement, separation, and deliberate restriction of movement. Baby, rules diminish with each secure threshold. Let's reinforce variations, eliminate alternative process. Controlled entry points, narrow remaining options. Locked in connections, purchase execution.
Confinement deep into a re-enclosed flexion. The surrounding condition of the surrounding structure.
A distant position, fortified barriers dominate every accessible direction through absolute containment. Every checkpoint is check progression, every sealed passage nations denying authorized transition. Heavy partitions, isolated joining sectors, emergency routes, terminated sealed barriers, inspection zones. Regulate every permitted transfer, monitoring post, oversee restricting circulation in entire complexes. Function through deliberate compartmentalization designed to prevent unrestricted travel, connection or departure from assigned areas. No unguarded route emerges as containment measures overlap through connectors.
Your kid bonds a race. Women divided, ready on first pockets. Why secure?
Operating behind Ryu's focus. Isolated sectors continue operating behind Ryu's focus. Isolated sectors continue operating behind Ryu's focus. Isolated sectors continue operating behind Ryu's focus.
Isolated sectors continue operating behind reinforced bulk carriage. Controlled access governs every transition. Restriction, restriction, restriction. Separation as they guide the neat environment axis. And unbanding the axiomatic sectors.
Locked barriers remain unmoved beside silent checkpoints, reinforced partitions. Divide every occupied sector, restricted routes, and abruptly and continuous without interruption throughout the facility.
Thunderous resonance rolls through reinforced halls, while stacked speaker walls drive violent vibration into steel support suspended fixtures. Rattle from within impact glass panels, fracture beneath concentrated pressure. Bolts loosen from trembling mounts, heavy flooring shivers under continuous assault. Air itself seems distorted by crushing waves of force. Scattered debris skitters across concrete surface, and every enclosed chamber absorbs another barrage of sound-driven aggression, spreading through destruction without mercy.
Harmonic pressure gathers inside.
Conversions issued by Masonic forces, repeated burden of punition, only like existing time limits. Other force aspects insulated its destruction throughout. Destruction from by sound alone. Massive enclosures tremble beneath sustained output, while fractured partitions shed fragments into turbulent airport brackets warped from repeated oscillation. Shattered glass scatters over vibrating floors. Overhead fixtures swing violently from stress. Anchors exposed, panels split under concentrated pressure, loose material bounce through industrial corridors, and whole sectors deteriorate as accumulated resonance. Overwhelmed, durability resists throughout the surrounds. Eroded, the existence throughout.
Sound, durability, and resistance. suspense throughout the stranded seaweedy and resistance. Crushing conditions, chambers and fractured passageways, sonic impacts rip through every connected surface. Vibration travels, vibration pressure feeds pressure. Struck the earth state. Disruption expands in these shockwaves. Pressure.
Compressed air hangs over silent loading bays while sealed bulkheads stand against mounting pressure from unseen depths. Reinforced beams creep beneath, accumulating strain, fastening plates grown inside. Motionless frameworks, narrow passageways feel tighter with every passing moment. Warning lamps remain steady yet unsettling. Stacked containers press against containment barriers.
Metallic knocks echo through enclosed sectors, and every surrounding surface carries the weight of something approaching a pressure without release.
Tension gathers behind stillness as restrained force continues building beneath. Controlled appearances, small vibrations travel through a shirt. Stab ability begins to feel uncertain. That's just subtly against the feeling muscular, and I mess grinding nest around every occupied the facility.
Reverse correction, held pressure stretches and learns toward its limit. Every second it disconnects. Expand tension and needed strength force amplifies. Unease through eye love and learning night shift.
Lock maintenance corridors remain undisturbed while concealed stress migrates through reinforced joints. Secured access points, secured access points, secured to live behind steel partitions. Structural overload without complaint, monitoring station Z-Tech fluctuations, subpan anchors resist decreasing force in closed compartments. Hold expanding pressure and entire sections exist beneath persistence.
Train as she waits for a point of release or failure.
No visible rupture appears as concentrated burden continues gathering behind some surfaces. Contained force presses against every limitation. Resistance holds but weakens gradually. Uncertainty spreads through observation points, and each quiet interval deepens the sense of approaching constant instability.
Compress connection into the present. Compress connection into the pressure. Slowly enclosed sector, hitting pressure, Resolution, pointed as bleed towards starboard lines, and knees to widens a melody.
Compressions continue testing structural endurance through every enclosed sector. Hidden pressure, restraint reinforced. Restraint stability comes increasing accumulation.
Crackling conduits weave through dim utility chambers, while unstable voltage surges between overloaded junctions. Bright arcs leap from exposed terminals and carve brief scars into surrounding metal relay cabinets rattle beside them in transformers. Installation peels from heated wiring, scatter sparks ricochet through narrow maintenance passages, break a housing shutter under fluctuating current. Sharp flashes illuminate industrial darkness, and every connected component endures relentless interference, spreading through tangled circuitry and energize infrastructure. Electrical turbulence intensifies around active equipment as irregular pulses disrupt stack conductor strength beneath sudden spikes. Protective devices engage and disengage in rapid succession. Instability migrates through link pathways. That's inside every energized section of the network. Same condition, violent
blank discharge tears through crowded circuits with unpredictable force. Every fluctuation introduces disruption. Every surge distorts performance through our connect equip. Bright arcs scatter from stressed connections, and the surrounding environment vibrates beneath interference, voltage conflating, instability. Electrical turbulence intensifies around active equipment as irregular pulses disrupt flow, conductor strain beneath sudden spikes. Protective devices engage, disengage in rapid succession. Instability migrates through link pathway. Instability migrates through link pathway. Stop racing circuits. Stop racing circuits. Stop racing circuits. Disturbance to every active connector. Calibrated assemblies operate beneath sterile illumination, while synchronized mechanisms repeat identical routines through vast industrial chambers. Articulated units align with measured precision. Edge advance and flawless link indicators.
Pulse at fixed intervals, polished rails, got an interrupted progression. Inspection arrays verify exact positioning. Coordinated actuators perform without hesitation or deviation. And every surrounding element contributes to a landscape governed by repetition, accuracy, and unwavering procedural consistency.
Measure altitude oxygen until we
Production.
Corridor stretch beneath, control illumination, automated. Grip and maintain exact spacing, every operation, monitoring the parts, articulated components, alarm, exit through identical positions, precision intervals, inspection mechanism, verify, flawless execution, and entire sectors remain locked into carefully maintained order through repetition, consistency, and discipline, procedural control.
no irregular influence disrupts the arrangement as synchronized.
Nigga, timing governs to create a timing governs to coordinate a mission with the sometimes flawless execution, decoration, and bodies from its intact dimension, redundancy, bad out to top and
Critically regions upon this subland, and GNFC unwavering to win. Just wanna be just like it and get a comfort walking the VA.
perfectly regulated, untouched. Perfectly regulated, notations.
Erratic machinery lunges beyond program limbs, while automated actuators snap through unintended cursor. Accelerate without authorization, tracking units veer from assigned routes. Control interfaces flow with conflicting indicators. Hydraulic arms strike empty space in chaotic repetition. Safety barriers deploy, too late to contain deviation. Rotating mechanisms spin past designated thresholds. Alarms echo through crowded facilities, and every active component abandons vertical behavior for escalating disorder and mechanical unpredictability. Established responses fail under mounting irregularity as corrective routine lose effectiveness. Monitor parameters drift beyond acceptable ranges. Synchronize operation breaks apart. Intervention arrives too slowly. Uncertain expands through connected equipment, and instability spreads through every active section of the installation. Unanswered call, amazing. Overactive sector with increasing Under rapidly changing conditions, containment measures activate after damage is already spread. Emergency overrides fail to restore coordination, and entire facilities endure cascading irregularity as uncontrolled processes multiply beyond effect in intervention and management. No reliable pattern remains as deviation expands to interconnected equipment. Corrective measures collide with unexpected responses. Program limitations lose authority. Operational certainty disappears, and each passing moment drags steps to 30 from predictable behavior and strict execution. An unchecked operation through reactive sector with increasing disorder. Fresh disruption, every uninspected action disappears beneath the erratic through malfunction, deviation, confusion, and relentless operational breakdown. Beyond recovery, warning alarms reverberate through active halls. Uncontrolled equipment continues its erratic course. Scatter faults multiply without restraint and predictable overreach.
Corrupted archives spread through illuminated server halls, while altered records replaced verified entries inside crowded storage erased, fragmented packets scattered through overloaded channels. Verification terminals display conflicted bases, return distorted histories, encrypted repositories could see manipulated revision, tracking logs diverge from documented events, authentication layers accept contaminated inputs, and every connected repository absorbs another wave of falsified material, spreading deeper through digital infrastructure and recording knowledge.
Reliable new information begins to push us, converting data multipass through and to millions.
Reliable information begins to fracture as confide can turn as a foundational of network.
Buried the nation. Buried the nation. Edges and watches and watches. Buried the nation. Buried the nation. Watches and watches and watches over the pain. Compromised terminals process manipulated inputs while altered indexes redirect investigation toward an accurate conclusion. Forged timestamps replace authentic chronology. Damaged data sets contaminate linked repositories. Duplicated errors propagate through analytical systems. Monitoring interfaces block predictory outcomes. Recovery efforts uncover deeper alteration, and entire collections become unreliable as accumulated corruption overwhelms verification. Consistency and documented accuracy across the network.
No trusted reference remains untouched as contamination migrates through interconnected repositories, altered records.
Reinforce additional distortion.
Verification.
Chains collapse beneath conflicting evidence. Certainty becomes difficult and endemic with definition. Attempt to correction exposes wider layers of manipulation. Permitting your informational decay. Raise forward, see the lost sensations all counted in acres. The summers and getting to your bases. Strategies seeking for perfectivity time disappears. And the environment advanced through falsification, contamination, confusion, information application. Yeah, hey. Watches and watches and watches and duplicate.
Thrust through illuminated transport lanes while reinforced chassis surge beneath escalating velocity. Tire walls grip heated pavement with violent force. Aerodynamic panels cut through dense air resistance. Overhead markers streaking a blurred fragments. Tunnel lights collapse in the flashing bands. Acceleration presses harder with every passing second. Suspension components observe constant impact, and the entire route transforms into a corridor of momentum, propulsion, and unchecked force.
overwhelming output, while rotating assemblies operate near maximum capacity. Reinforced drivetrains transfer force through vibrating instruction. Markers flash by in rapid succession. Surrounding terrain dissolves into fleeting shapes, breaking distance stretches beyond expectation.
Mechanical stress grows alongside performance. Airflow tears against exposed surfaces, and every remaining reserve is converted into raw advancement through continuous propulsion and escalating pace.
No reduction occurs as thrust
Continuous bending through waste-laden, through actin machine resistance falls away beneath concentrated force. Leave explosions into burst. Volition advance humped into space and water shoots in a burst. Beneath got flown in earth. Be wise and true like what it pushes for the maximum burst.
Restrained advancement. I'm a strain that boss man. I'm a strain that boss man. I'm a strain that boss man. I'm the string of fans man.
Corroded plating flakes from abandoned processing towers, while chemical residue creeps along fractured surfaces. Beneath stain illumination, oxidized beams weaken under persistent decay. Contaminated runoff stains concrete channels, damaged pipework leaks. Corrosive fluid into neglected service zones. Blister coatings peel from structural cells. Rust spreads through neglected fasteners. Brittle support shed fragments in the polluted drainage paths. And every exposed material endures a slow but relentless advance of deterioration and contamination. Visible damage expands beyond isolated sections. A corrosive influence reaches adjoining sectors. Weakened materials surrender resistance. Stained surfaces reveal deeper degradation. Contaminated residue accumulates inside the neglected recession.
Gradual dissection, external sterile as your vulnerable component left in spawns through decay and erosion.
Altered in S, the more it goes to this vein, and advance through damage that the structural patient resistance for it kicking the same. Benedane, listen for me, then heavy nanotely cystic compartments to kick compartments, brittle. Conduits fracture under accumulated damage, stained reservoirs overflow into adjacent sectors, deteriorating joints separate from aging assemblies, exposed hardware loses integrity beneath. Chemical attack and entire facilities descend into progressive decline as degradation propagates through interconnected materials and structures without resistance or recovery. No unaffected surface remains as corrosion reaches deeper layers. Up a nation migrates through connected systems.
Weakened materials surrender resistance. Skin surface atrophy to contamination. Erosion feeds corrosion decay.
These are remains just a poison within contamination, deterioration, structural damage, and relentless material decline, spreading ever farther outward, outward. Rusty fragments gather the meters full.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah,
blazing containment vessels tremble beneath impossible pressure, while overloaded reactors force violent energy through reinforced chambers. Emergency indicators saturate every control surface with critical warnings. Cooling reserves vanish into rising heat. Reinforced housings deform under escalating stress. Shock waves ripple through surrounding infrastructure. Fractured conduits release bursts of unstable force. Monitoring stations struggle to process. Accelerating failures in every active component. Approaches a final threshold where accumulated instability can no longer be restrained.
Many safeguards weaken beneath overwhelming escalation as critical values surge beyond calculated limits. Emergency responses lose effectiveness.
Structural resist state instability compounds. Instability compares due to irreversible consequences. Vanish presence. Approaching limits collapse beneath unstoppable escalation. Vanish presence. Every witness rest to praise the Lord. Back to that devour your strength, force of activeness. Structural resistance is to legal compounds and feature bent. Hit assemblies convulse beneath expanding burden, while damage containment structures absorb repeated impacts from internal violence. Emergency shutters buckle under extreme force. Fractures surrender to escalating pressure. Violent discharge erupts to weaken barriers. Collapsing infrastructure spreads disruption into neighboring sectors.
Alarm networks become overwhelmed by cascading faults and entire facilities. Passenger accelerating breakdown as every remaining safeguard is authority against mounting catastrophe and chain reaction.
No stabilizing influence survives as accumulated force overwhelms protective measures. Critical thresholds disappear beneath intense latent barriers fail one after another. Pressure converts directly into destruction, and each successive failure drives the environment closer to total uncontrolled release and collapse. Run the escalation consumes. Surveilled installation. Slaps every remaining layer of resistance through saturation and saturation. Accelerates, collapse, collapse. Protective measures disappear. Structural endurance ends, and the environment advances to rupture. Overload, chain reaction, incomplete rival and catastrophic. Criticality, beyond containment or recovery. Warning lights vanish beneath violent release. Fractures expanding until destruction. Shockwaves sweep through the remains, and catastrophic escalation reaches its final limit.
Overheated processor, vaults pulse beneath relentless demand. We're cooling turbines for scorching air through crowded service corridors. Warning indicators, flood control panels with escalating alerts. Transformer housings vibrate under excessive load. Storage arrays struggle beneath